Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on interview, Rox Heuermann, owner of RH Consultant, a Department of Building facilitator. Let's go meet him. Rex!
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Likewise. I hope you don't mind. I brought my assistant with me, Norman.
Hello, Norman. I see it's raining out.
Yes,
Shall
it's
we go to the
raining. Yeah.
table?
Yes, please. Okay.
I know. You said you'd like to do this outside, but Mother Nature is not cooperating
Yeah,
today.
to say the least, I tell you that. Being in your office, all right?
I wasn't looking forward to doing this under a scaffold.
I can understand. Okay, anyway, let's dive in. So, tell us, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in New York. Just
Okay.
like that.
Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been
All right.
working in Manhattan since 1987.
Oh, wow.
Very long time.
Okay. So, this brings directly to my first question. So, can you explain to our audience what is it that you do, not the architect part of your business, but the other part of the business, which is my understanding that you're kind of a facilitator with the Department of Building. Is that correct? But please tell us.
That's correct, but much more.
Okay.
What I
That's so much
do-
more I'm interested.
I do troubleshooting, architectural troubleshooting, and negotiations with the building department.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, do we do the standard stuff with the building department? Handle your filings. I have other clients who are a lot of other architects, and we'll handle their interactions with the building department,
Yeah.
especially out of city architects because they're a little afraid of the city. And
Tough city.
when a job that should have been routine
Yeah.
suddenly becomes not routine,
Yeah.
I get the phone call.
Gotcha.
Whether it's an old building and they need somebody that understands and can maneuver the 1938 building code or the current building code. You look surprised when I say 1938
Yeah,
building code.
1938 building. Yeah.
I've actually used the 1901 old tenement laws here in the
Interesting.
city of New York, and you can legally do so.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the little things that
That you do.
people don't always understand when it comes to building codes.
Yeah, yeah.
They never read the administrative section.
So, what decided you to launch that particular, I would say, a niche of a business? Was it because out of frustration on your side as an architect? You say, I can't believe, I didn't think about that. Let me dive into it and let me try to maybe make it a business out of it, or was just you just decided to do it?
Actually, it was Harvey's fault.
Of who?
In 1987, when I came to work in the city, the first architect I worked for was Harvey Rothenberg.
Okay.
Great man. That year, a new law came out. Local Law 58 of 87.
Okay.
That's all the handicap access.
Ah, okay.
They said,
The idea.
you're the new guy, you read it. So, I read
You
it.
read it.
There was a situation dealing with the city. They said, well, go meet with the city. I did. I was effective at it. He said, go do it again.
Oh, that's funny.
And that's how the whole thing started.
Okay.
And he did a lot of work with not-for-profit agencies
Okay.
for developmentally disabled. So that's where I started doing a lot of my building code consultant with him, as well as the design and drawings
Yeah.
for these facilities. And the one thing I learned very quickly was
Yeah.
the building department could not understand them.
Couldn't understand what their own codes.
their own codes, their own laws. because you have what we would call a group home for developmentally disabled.
Okay.
It doesn't exactly fit the code book. And the plan examiners who work for the building department didn't fully understand it. So part of my job became educate the city.
So you educate the city about their own code.
Correct.
That has been, our
And
laws.
That's been something we've been doing ever since, and we still do today.
So you started with a firm, and then when you decided to launch your own, you decided, let me continue that route of the consulting. Is that correct?
That's basically correct.
Yeah.
But the way it all happened was a recession in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to figure out who to work for.
Yeah.
And that's when I met my very, very first paying client, Robert Meyer.
Robert Meyer, okay.
I'm in the Queens Building Department. It's before lunch. I want to get to lunch. Back in those days, you had to physically stand in line with your paperwork, because this predated the computer system.
Yes.
And he was dealing with the clerk at the certificate of occupancy counter, didn't know what he was doing. I'm getting impatient. I go, excuse me, took his paperwork, explained to the clerk what he needed, then explained to him what he needed to do, then move over. Then I took care of what I needed to do. He was standing off on the side.
What do you think is one of the main reasons people are contacting you? Is that because they were badly advised, or because they don't know all the rules, or they try to rush things? Is that what is basically most of the reason why people are contacting you for?
I would say the biggest reason, they're overwhelmed by the city. They're overwhelmed by the size, complexity of the building department.
Yeah.
And whether it's a restaurant, a place of assembly, a 40,000 square foot retail that we did last year, or somebody's co-op, or it's their mother's co-op and she passed away, and there's an old application that's 20 years old that nobody addressed that they have to solve to sell it. People get very overwhelmed, not just by the agency and how to deal with the agency, but the complexity of, we got plumbing work, structural work, construction work, there was mechanical work done. There's a list of requirements, 20-something things long in the computer. What do we do?
Okay. So tell me, is this part of the, because you're an architect, is this part of the business has outgrown your architect business, or it's started taking over, or what?
Sometimes it's the majority.
Really? Yeah, that's
sometimes it's 50-50 with architecture, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
On the architectural side, having all of these capabilities in-house gives me an advantage over other people, because I have my own staff.
Yeah.
Most architects will go to an outside consultant.
Like yours?
No, not like mine, called an expediter.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's what the expediter
The expediter, they understand how to file, they understand the administrative procedures. Where I exceed that is, I have the license to practice architecture, so when I go to the city, I can tell them how I feel and what I think they should do. And I do that. An expediter can't do that because they work at the pleasure of the city. I don't.
Understand. So, after all those years, what do you think is the most important qualities a person in your position dealing with the DOB must have?
Patience.
That's funny. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. Patience, and I don't like to use the word tolerance, but sometimes you have to. Yeah. And it's not just with the city, it's also with the client. because
Yeah.
most clients, they don't understand what I have to do, why I have to do it, what it takes to get done.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with somebody in the city, whether it be a clerk at the counter who has to enter data entry, or if I'm dealing with the borough commissioner of Manhattan,
Yeah.
you need the patience, because who knows what the person before you did. Sometimes they have very bad days.
Yeah.
I've actually gone to the commissioner's office, sat down in his waiting area at 11:30 in the morning, and a little after 5 o'clock, I heard him finally holler out, "Is Rex still there?" That's how long I waited.
Oh God.
Because that particular client,
Yeah.
I had to see the commissioner. They were the only ones who could give us an answer.
Okay, got it. Oh, yeah. So this is a perfect segue. Do you have a story where the situation, and we don't need names, but do you have a story where situation seemed, very, very doomed, but you were able to deliver at the end? Do you have a good success story to tell us?
There are so many different ways
I'm sure.
looking at it.
But you have one.
Only one.
Okay.
One of the first ones to come to mind
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
was
curious.
a building downtown Manhattan.
Okay.
They put a generator on the roof. Typical generators go on roofs all the time.
Okay.
Except the fuel lines to feed the generator will run through the exit stair. Let's see. Pumping diesel fuel through an exit stair, that generally is not a good idea.
This doesn't sound very safe to me.
No.
And I'm not even in your field.
And we're talking a 20-something story building.
Even better.
The architect who I was working with at the time, I called him, didn't answer. I called him 4 or 5 times. He finally picks up the phone because he happened to be at Passover dinner. And I told him what was going on. All I got was dead silence, then the, "Oh my God."
Okay.
Now, you would think, how do you solve this without tearing everything apart?
Exactly. Yeah.
Meet with the commissioner of Manhattan Building Department, and I start negotiating how to do this.
Okay.
And I got very creative with, first you have to address, I got flammable liquid, combustible liquid in my stair, not good. Can I separate it from the stair?
Okay.
That was question one. Second question is, do you still have enough room for the legal means of egress in the stair? Because you have to maintain minimum widths, minimum capacities to get everybody out.
Yeah.
So this became a mixing of building code, negotiation, the use of modern products to achieve all of this. And in the end, the pipe stayed.
The pipe stayed.
They stayed. I achieved a 4-hour separation from the stair using autoclaved aerated concrete block construction.
And on the Chinese to me, but I'm sure.
And on the horizontal run, I used a 3M product to achieve the fire rating. So it became a mix of art and science and the understanding of the code to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's what I applied to each job. I actually just purchased a copy of the 1922 building code.
Oh.
Because I'm dealing with a building that was built in the late 20s, but it's not yet under the 1938 code. So I'm in that slack water between 22 and 38, and I need to prove that the condition was legal at that point in time.
At that point in time. That's
which is why at home I have an extensive library.
I'm sure.
Of obsolete books. And people want to know, why do I have a plumbing code from the 1970s?
Yeah.
When I do work for either attorneys or have to look up something historical, I need the reference for that point in time.
Exactly, yeah. this job taught you about yourself?
I think it's taught me more about how to understand people, because dealing with the technical aspects
Yeah.
is something a person can learn. You go to school and through an architectural program. You work for the experience of doing architecture. You get your license to practice.
Yeah.
As your time goes on, you learn about the buildings and about the codes and the different buildings of time frames. I'm dealing with a building from the 1880s right now. You know how they react. But it's the people, how they're all so different, and how you deal with the people, I think, is one of the more interesting aspects that have come out of this.
Yes? Okay. All right, my last question. If you were a tool or an object to help you to bring your business to greater heights, what would it be?
That's an interesting question.
I know.
Because for what I do, we have to have so many tools in the toolbox.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one. Or an object. It doesn't have to be a tool. It can be an object.
You know what?
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
One of the things I learned from my father was furniture building.
Okay.
He was an aerospace engineer and built satellites. And
runs in the family, building things.
and built furniture at home. And I still build it in the same exact workshop.
So?
I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job. And it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
Okay, cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. Yeah. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.
Okay, great. So you would be that kind of hammer for your business? That's what you're saying? If that doesn't exist, that's what you would be?
Sometimes I have to be the heavy framing hammer.
The heavy framing hammer.
Other times I'm the lightweight hammer just to nudge things along.
All right. I guess it's a hammer. We got it. That's it, folks. That was Rex, owner, founder of RH Consultant. So if you have any building regulatory issues, please contact him. He's probably going to solve your issues, okay? Guys, you know the drill. Comment, share, like, subscribe. Subscribe, very important. But in the meantime, it's
selfie time.
Selfie time. You're fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! Can you smile?
That is.